Diana. Also tonight, President Trump igniting outrage with Native American heroes from World War II standing behind him at the White House. What he said today. Senator Al Franken returning to the Hill and his message to the women. But will his apology be enough? And Roy Moore tonight, will the president campaign for him? The Russia investigation, ABC News tonight, learning of a meeting between Michael Flynn's lawyers and special counsel Robert Mueller's team. Is Flynn now planning to cooperate? Massive evacuations tonight, American tourists among them. The volcano erupting. And the standoff at the mall, the officer opening fire, panicked shoppers running for cover.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you back with us here after the Thanksgiving holiday, and we have a lot of news to get to tonight. But first, that global headline. The daughter from America about to join the royal family. Prince Harry asking Meghan Markle to marry him, and tonight, where he asked her, the history. The first American to officially join the royal family. She was raised in a biracial family. She went to a Catholic high school here at home. She's now an actress, and tonight, what it was like the first time in the room with the Queen. This evening, their first interview now being watched all over the world. And here's ABC's chief foreign correspondent, Terry Moran.
Hand in hand, they stepped into the sunken garden at Kensington Palace. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, almost giddy it seemed.
How are you both feeling?
Thrilled.
And Meghan, how are you feeling?
And later, they talked about the big moment. Harry popped the question.
It happened a few weeks ago, earlier this month, here at our cottage. Just a standard, typical night for us.
It's a cozy night. It was what we're doing, just roasting chicken and having
trying to roast a chicken.
Trying to roast a chicken, and it was just an amazing surprise. It was so sweet and natural and very romantic. He got on one knee.
Of course.
Was it an instant yes from you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I could barely let you finish proposing. I said, can I say yes now?
She didn't even let me finish. She said, can I say yes, can I say yes now?
For months, they've been the focus of rumors and speculation, but today, they just seemed like two young people happy in love.
Because at the end of the day, she chooses me and I choose her. And therefore, whatever we have to tackle together or individually will always be us together as a team. So I think she's capable
So
of...
nicely said, isn't it?
And Meghan seems ready to become one of the family. Talking about meeting Harry's grandma, Queen Elizabeth II, who gave her blessing. Meghan also addressing how her own family reacted.
Do you think they have worried at all about the scale of what you're getting into?
Well, I'm sure at the onset, both my parents and my close friends were concerned because we got very quickly swept up in a media storm that, as I shared, was not part of my life before that, but they also had never seen me so happy.
Mum's amazing.
They remembered how they met last year.
It was definitely a setup. It was a blind date.
It was a blind date,
And
for sure.
I didn't know much about him, and so the only thing that I had asked her when she said she wanted to set us up was, I had one question. I said, well, is he nice?
I'd never heard of Meghan before, and I was beautifully surprised when I walked into that room and saw her, and there she was sitting there. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to really have to up my game.
All of it leading up to that proposal and that ring.
The ring is obviously yellow gold because that's her favourite, and the main stone itself, a sourced from Botswana, and the little diamonds either side are from my mother's jewellery collection to make sure that she's with us on this crazy journey together. And
It's beautiful, and he designed it. It's incredible.
yeah.
I think everything about Harry's thoughtfulness and the inclusion of that, and obviously not being able to meet his mom, it's so important to me to know that she's a part of this with us.
And Terry Moran joined us now from London outside Kensington Palace tonight. And Terry, remember being there in our booth as William and Kate pulled out in that '69 Aston Martin. Perhaps it'll be a Ford Mustang for the American princess. Who knows?
Well, no word on the car right now, David, but the palace has said that the wedding will take place sometime next spring. Now, that's going to be a very busy time for the royal family. Prince William and Kate are expecting their third baby in April, so the betting here is on a wedding in May when the weather is nice-ish in London, which may mean a convertible for this royal couple. David?
Yeah, still plenty of time to decide the car. Terry Moran leading us off. Terry, thank you. A nice way to come back to the news after the holidays. But there were a lot of other headlines today. And first off, President Trump and his choice of words at the White House today, honoring Native American heroes from World War II. They were code talkers. But what he then said with them all standing there. ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl tonight.
At an event today to honor Navajo code talkers, Native American heroes of World War II, President Trump issued a racially charged insult, labeling a political foe, quote, Pocahontas.
You're very, very special people. You were here long before any of us were here. Although we have a representative in Congress who they say was here a long time ago. They call her Pocahontas. But you know what? I like you because you are special.
The three Navajo heroes, all in their 90s, reacted with silence. The venue was new, but the insult is one the president used over and over again during the campaign to attack Senator Elizabeth Warren, who came under fire in 2012 for claiming, without any proof, to have Native American heritage.
Did you ever hear Pocahontas? Huh? It's Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren.
But the purpose of today's event was to honor Native American war heroes.
Why did he feel the need to say something that is offensive to many people while honoring the Navajo code talkers, these genuine American
I think
heroes?
What most people find offensive is Senator Warren lying about her heritage to advance her career.
Today, Warren fired back.
It is deeply unfortunate that the President of the United States cannot even make it through a ceremony honoring these heroes without having to throw out a racial slur.
She said it was a racial slur. What is your response to that?
I think that's a ridiculous response.
All right, so let's get to John Karl live with us tonight from the White House. And John, this all comes at a crucial time for the president. Many Republicans likely wanted him to stick to the script today on the tax plan, a vote expected this week. I know he can only afford to lose 2 senators on this. Where do things stand, John?
The president's going to Capitol Hill tomorrow, David, to make a big push for the tax plan. As you point out, he can only afford to lose 2 Republican votes in the Senate, and there are already several Republicans who have expressed concerns about the tax plan. That said, the White House says they are confident that they will get the votes needed to pass it.
All right, you'll be following it all week for us, John Karl. Thank you. And next year, Congress returning from the Thanksgiving break, including Senator Al Franken, apologizing to the women who have spoken out against him, saying he's ashamed. Will the apology be enough? ABC's Mary Bruce on the Hill again tonight.
Back on Capitol Hill, Al Franken says he is embarrassed, ashamed, and ready to get back to work.
I know there are no magic words that I can say to regain your trust.
It's been 11 days since California radio host Leanne Tweeden released this photo and accused Franken of forcibly kissing her. Other women have since come forward, saying Franken groped them while posing for photos. And Franken can't guarantee there aren't more accusations still to come.
If you had, asked me 2 weeks ago, would any woman come forward with an allegation like this, I would have said no.
Franken's fate is now likely in the hands of his own colleagues on the Senate Ethics Committee.
I cannot comment on any matter that might come before the Ethics Committee.
Not even whether or not you're looking into it?
Correct. I cannot comment at all.
It's that level of secrecy that has so many critics saying Congress plays by a different set of rules. Take Democrat John Conyers, accused of sexually harassing former staffers. Conyers denies it, but admits paying one a secret $27,000 settlement. Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi struggled Sunday to explain why Conyers isn't being held to her own zero-tolerance policy.
Just because someone is accused, and was it one accusation? Is it 2? I think there has to be. John Conyers is an icon in our country.
Pelosi later backtracked, and Conyers is now stepping down from his leadership role on the House Judiciary Committee. And on the Republican side, many senators are dreading the prospect that Alabama could soon elect Roy Moore. 8 women have accused him of inappropriate sexual behavior, including sexual assault, many while they were teenagers. In a new ad out today, Moore boasts of a scandal-free career.
40 years of honorable service. Roy Moore has been intensely scrutinized and not a hint of scandal.
Mary Bruce with us from the Hill tonight. And Mary, President Trump is standing behind Roy Moore. Last week he hinted he may even go down to Alabama to campaign. But tonight you're learning that's not going to happen?
David, the White House says the president is not planning a trip to Alabama. They say his schedule doesn't permit it. David.
Mary Bruce, thank you. We are also watching a leadership battle at a consumer watchdog agency set up to protect Americans from the big banks after the financial collapse. The director of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau leaving abruptly, putting his deputy in charge until Congress can approve a replacement. President Trump immediately appointing his budget director, Mick Mulvaney, instead, who showed up there today taking charge of the agency he once called a joke. Deputy Director Leandra English had just sent an email to the agency. Mulvaney said, ignore it. She has now filed a lawsuit to stay in the job, both sides saying the law is on their side. Next tonight, the Russia investigation and former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, a major signal tonight. Could he be ready to cooperate with the special counsel Robert Mueller? We had already learned here that Flynn's lawyers told White House lawyers they could no longer discuss defense strategy with them. Well, tonight, ABC News has now learned Flynn's lawyers have now sat down with special counsel Robert Mueller's team. ABC's chief investigative correspondent Brian Ross.
It's let's make a deal time for Michael Flynn tonight, the president's former national security advisor who famously wanted Hillary Clinton behind bars.
Lock her up. That's right. That's right. Lock her up.
Today in Washington, Flynn's lawyer met with the special counsel's team, a sign of a possible plea deal that could make Flynn a government witness in the Russia investigation. Flynn was forced out of the Trump administration for lying about his contacts with the Russians, although the president still defended him.
I don't think he did anything wrong. If anything, he did something right.
Yet former FBI Director James Comey says the president, in private, asked him to let the Flynn investigation go.
I understood him to be saying that what he wanted me to do was drop any investigation connected to Flynn's account of his conversations with the Russians.
But the investigation continued, and now people briefed on the case say Flynn may be ready to talk as he faces the prospect that both he and his son could be prosecuted. His lawyer recently cut off communications with White House lawyers, and he already told Congress General Flynn certainly has a story to tell, and he very much wants to tell it, should the circumstances permit. David, what comes next? It's time for both sides to show their cards. According to people briefed on the case, prosecutors will tell Flynn what charges he could face, and Flynn will tell them what, if anything, he knows about wrongdoing in the Trump campaign or the White House, David.
Everyone watching these signals very closely. Brian, thank you. We turn next here to the mass evacuations underway tonight, including American tourists. An enormous cloud of ash and smoke seen across the island of Bali. Here's ABC's Matt Gutman.
Tonight in Bali, terrifying scenes around Mount Agung. This time-lapse video showing ash hurtling 10,000 feet into the atmosphere. Scientists using drones already discovering a new hole in the volcano's crater. Rivers of volcanic debris and mud now flowing down the slopes. Officials declaring the highest possible threat level and expanding the danger zone to as far as 6 miles out as fears of even bigger eruptions grow. 100,000 in the path ordered to flee, many staying in evacuation centers where they're handing out breathing masks. That ash disrupting air travel, hundreds of flights already canceled. Over 50,000 travelers at this top tourist destination are now trapped.
We're now waiting to, I guess, go home.
There's no representatives here that are going to talk to us.
And David, because the Bali airport is closed, many of those tourists, including Americans, have had to take ferries to get off the island. David.
Matt Gutman, thank you. We turn next here and we return to our reporting on the Rohingya people, one of the most persecuted minorities on earth, escaping the violence in Myanmar. And tonight, Pope Francis is visiting Myanmar, being very careful with his words, but sending a message. ABC's James Longman traveling with the Pope.
Pope Francis arrived in Myanmar to cheers of happy children lining the roads. Different from the lines our team found just weeks ago of people with pink slips hoping for food along its border. 620,000 Rohingya Muslims have fled from what Secretary of State Rex Tillerson calls ethnic cleansing. The Pope's first meeting with this man, General Min Aung Hlaing, accused by rights groups of crimes against humanity. This trip, a diplomatic tightrope. Francis warned not to even use the word Rohingya. If he insults his hosts, he risks inflaming tensions. If soft, his moral authority could be diminished. The general in a Facebook statement saying the Pope was told there's no ethnic discrimination here, despite these scenes. Tomorrow, Pope Francis meets with embattled leader Aung San Suu Kyi, who was herself once under house arrest. He'll also give his first public address, at which he'll say Myanmar's future rests in respect for each ethnic group. He's hoping his presence, if not his words, are enough to build bridges. David?
All right, James Longman tonight. James, thank you. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Monday. Cyber Monday still underway, and what we learned today about the hours between 8 and 11 tonight. Also ahead on the news tonight, police opening fire in a mall filled with holiday shoppers who they were aiming for. The major train derailment in this country, the dangerous chemical leak. Families warned to shelter in place. And the First Lady unveiling Christmas at the White House. And what we heard today, what a child could be heard whispering to the First Lady. Next tonight into Your Money, Cyber Monday off to a record-setting pace, shaping up to be the biggest online shopping day in history. And it turns out the busiest time to shop today hasn't even started yet. ABC's Lindsay Janis tonight out to save your money.
There are tons of incredible Cyber Monday deals.
The clock is ticking on Cyber Monday.
So are you going to be shopping right up until midnight?
Yes. But the deals are far from over. The busiest time for shopping between 8 and 11 o'clock tonight.
I'm looking for KitchenAid.
Toys, lots of toys.
This year, Amazon facing stiff competition from Walmart, which is offering this Instant Pot mini pressure cooker for $59. Amazon's price, $59.95. Today's best deals are on electronics and this season's hottest toys, like these Shopkins dolls.
Shopkins, Hatchimals, all of those hot toys. You want to make sure you get them now before they sell out. Coats, sweaters, all that stuff, you want to wait till later, as close to Christmas as you can.
David, if you missed out on Cyber Monday, look out for more great deals on Green Monday. That is December 11th, and free shipping day. That's December 15th. David?
Cyber Monday, then Green Monday. Lindsay Janis, thanks to you. When we come back here tonight, the major train derailment, families warned to shelter in place. Also that police shooting in a crowded shopping mall, shoppers running for cover. The index of other news, the shopping mall shooting in Arlington, Texas. Police releasing surveillance images of a shoplifting suspect pointing a gun at an officer in a crowded mall. Panicked shoppers running for cover, the officer opening fire, the wounded suspect captured on the escalator. Authorities say he was armed with a pellet gun, the suspect hospitalized in critical condition tonight. The dangerous chemical leak in Lakeland, Florida this evening. Hazmat crews are on the scene of a train derailment. Several cars jumping the tracks, at least 2 leaking molten sulfur. The chemical can burn your skin and make it difficult to breathe. Nearby families ordered to shelter in place for hours, close their windows. No injuries reported. And Christmas has arrived at the White House. First Lady Melania Trump unveiling this year's decorations, the theme time-honored traditions. The display includes more than 50 Christmas trees. There were ballet dancers performing to the Nutcracker. And the First Lady making quite an impression on children invited to the White House. One of them saying, quote, "She seriously looks like an angel." I'm sure she loved that. When we come back here tonight, Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and what the prince said when he was asked today, what would Diana think of his fiancé? And how did the Queen's corgis react to her too? Finally tonight here, after years of speculation, Prince Harry and his very American answer. Tonight, Prince Harry and his American fiancé, and the first time Meghan Markle met her new grandmother-in-law, Queen Elizabeth, and her beloved corgis.
Have you met the Queen?
I have, yes.
A couple of times.
Yeah,
What was that
a
like?
couple of times. It's incredible. I think, you know, to be able to meet her through his lens, not just with his honor and respect for her as the monarch, but the love that he has for her as his grandmother, so that when I met her, I had such a deep understanding and, of course, incredible respect for being able to have that time with her. And we've had a really, she's an incredible woman.
And the corgis took to you straight away.
That's true.
For the last 33 years being barked at. This one walks in, absolutely nothing.
Just laying on my feet during tea. It was very sweet.
And it's just like, oh.
And what would his mother, Princess Diana, think of his fiancé? Harry says they would have hit it off.
What do you think your mother would have thought of Meghan or said about Meghan?
Oh, they'd be thick as thieves. Without question. I think she would be over the moon, jumping up and down, you know, so excited for me. But then, as I said, would have probably been best friends with Meghan. So no, it is days like today when I really miss having her around and miss being able to share the happy news. But you know, with the ring and with everything else that's going on, I'm sure she's with us. I'm sure she's with us. Yeah.
We wish them well. Thanks for watching here on a Monday night. I really